Hey everyone, and welcome to Backseat Sports. I'm Josh, and that is Caleb, and it's finally here. Game week is upon us. Nebraska versus Alabama. We got a big one here. College game day is upon us. It's a massive game.
Dude, I can't wait. Finally, we get to play Nick Saban. This is so exciting. They're coming to Lincoln.
Oh,
Holy
it's a big
smokes,
one,
Josh.
Wait, but then why are we 36-point favorites against Alabama?
Wait, what's that word in front of Alabama?
Oh no,
South.
It's South.
Oh, dang it.
Shoot.
Wow. Not as fun. Not nearly as fun.
Well, with that said, basically, we're finally here. We're a few days away from college football in Nebraska once again. The hype is real. We're ranked 24th in the country. Thank you,
Dang.
AP. Thank you. We're ready to go. How you doing, Caleb?
Dude, I am so excited. Football is finally back. That just terrible month of no football has passed,
nothing.
and we're
Yeah.
getting ready. I can't believe we're making our first predictions video. It's very exciting. I can't wait
know.
to dive into football this year. We get to bestow some knowledge, share our mostly just highs this year. There's not going to be any lows like last year or the years before. We're just going to enjoy win after win after win. I mean, that's our goal.
Yeah,
It's
of
going to
course.
be great.
Yep, so we're posting the predictions video. We're going to be doing this every single week going into the season. A reaction and prediction for the reaction to the previous game and a prediction for the next game. And then we're going to be doing another video at, in the middle of the week, end of the week, right around Thursday generally. That's when the video will come out, or maybe Wednesday if we're really on top of things. And this week it's going to be Big Ten West predictions. So we're going to be going through the Big Ten West predictions. That'll come out on either Wednesday or Thursday. And we'll get rocking and rolling for the new season.
We're posting now a lot more on our Facebook and our Twitter pages. We're going to
Yes.
be posting daily Husker content. You're going to be able to keep up on all your Husker news with Josh and I on our Backseat Sports. So follow us on our Facebook and our Twitter.
Yes, we'll appreciate the support. We're always trying to interact with you guys on those pages, so we appreciate all the interaction, creating conversation, and everything else. So we're trying to always figure out what you guys are thinking and how you guys are thinking about Nebraska football. So with that said, we're finally hopping in the game. A lot of news this week. I mean, depth charts were released, black shirts were handed out, captains were named, all over the place for Husker football. And we're going to talk about what we need to look for before we actually talk about the predictions and previewing South Alabama.
Yes. Well, our first game, we see a lot. And obviously the train is rolling. Fall camp has ended. And the captains were named at the Boneyard Bash. And we get 4 of them. And pretty exciting. We get Adrian Martinez. No big shock there. The starting quarterback. What a beast.
And then
we
Mo
also
Berry. Yep.
Yes, and Mo Berry, which makes sense. He's a senior. Darian Daniels, which is a big surprise to both Josh and I. For him to come in from, Oklahoma State and to be named a captain just after 4 months of being known as on the team is pretty exciting. And he's actually named the starter as well, starting nose guard. And then we also have Matt Farniok, our junior right tackle, also being named as the other offensive captain in tandem with Adrian Martinez.
Yeah.
Cool stuff. And then also the black shirts got handed out before the season started, which is new. This hasn't happened in a long time. I personally can remember Bo always did it in the middle of the season. Last year, the black shirts were also not handed out till the middle of the season. So for the black shirts to already be handed out, I'm guessing that's something probably Scott wants to do now. Yeah. He also handed them out to people who are going to be making plays and impacts on the team. I'm really liking all the traditions that Scott Frost is bringing in on the defensive side.
Yes. Well, speaking of black shirts and black unis, Scott Frost mentioned that he wants to do alternate unis for when when the defense shuts out opponents or has really great performances. And
Hot.
That would be incredible. So literally the whole team would wear alternate unis based on the performance of the defense, in the next games. That would be incredible.
So awesome.
Oh my goodness.
It's like Nebraska would have their own turnover chain then.
Yeah, the whole Miami turnover chain and the touchdown rings, whatever. That's something that Nebraska could be really unique about. I would love to get this can we get a hashtag going, or do I need to make t-shirts? How do we make this happen? Because
I don't know. I think Scott really wants it, so
life.
I think he set it in motion. I think it's going to happen.
Please, Scott, make it happen. Let's go. That's what we're all about around here. We need some of that.
It's a genius idea.
Yes, and the black. That's side note. The unis were fire. I love those black unis. So
yeah.
With that said, finally we can talk about what we need to look for in the Husker game. We had a little bit of a long beginning here, but I think it was all pretty important. First of all, we're just talking about what we need to look for going into this game. The important things, obviously, for Nebraska, this game's not going to be the biggest road bump. It's something that
it's not Alabama.
It's not Alabama. It's South Alabama. It's 36-point favorite spread in the game. And so the first position that we're really looking at here in this game is the running back situation. Maurice Washington specifically, that situation's kind of working itself out.
Definitely we're gonna have up in the air.
We're going to have a ruling next week. So it's weird timing. And that's why there's so many guys that the coaching staff is hoping to see this week. That's why I don't think either of us are really expecting to see too much of Maurice Washington if we see him at all. Frost said we're getting more information on it, and he had a great camp. Looking forward to seeing what we can do with him. We're hoping the best they can play, but it's all about the ruling. It's kind of out of the hands of Nebraska right now.
That means we're going to be able to see Dedrick Mills, who was also named the starter with Washington. They were both named co-starters. Mills' name leading up first. And then after Washington, we had Wyatt Mazur as the third string.
Yeah.
He's been, a Husker faithful guy who's been able to score some touchdowns in garbage time, and who the fans have really jumped on and liked.
Overall, the whole running back situation is really interesting because behind him we got Ramir Johnson and Ronald Tompkins, and who's been hurt. But the coaching staff really likes both those guys a lot. Ryan Held was quoted basically saying that they want to see all the running backs and they want to give all of them opportunities to show up early on in the season. And we'd expect that this game is going to be the prime time for a lot of these guys to see quite a bit of time. And so, Ronald Tompkins, we don't know if he's actually going to play. He probably won't because he's hurt. But about Ronald Tompkins, Held said he's really optimistic about him. He says it's not like a for sure redshirt thing for him, and he wants to give everybody a chance to still play early on in this year. So
that 4-game rule is wonderful.
Really, really fun for these types of situations, these types of games. And so we're going to be able to see a lot of guys, and that's why we're talking about all these people, because there's so many interesting players that we're going to be able to see, especially in the running back position.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Ryan Held for holding it down on recruiting for this next year.
Yeah, seriously.
He's crushing it right now.
Yeah, that's what you like to see. We need that depth for sure at that position right now. So moving forward, the other position that we really want to focus on is the linebacking position. The depth chart's a little interesting there because of a lot of oars. It's a lot of co-starters and a lot of options there. We haven't seen a lot of any of the guys besides Mo, for the most part. And if we have seen them, they haven't necessarily been great. So we're hoping to really see massive growth in the linebacking position. That's something that we have to look for in this game.
So besides Mo Berry, Josh and I were definitely thinking this year that Will Honus was going to be named the other starter. He started before he had that season-ending injury last year, and that's no surprise. He was named with Colin Miller as both starting at that inside linebacker position.
Yeah.
So glad to see that we have kind of had two guys come up in the ranks. Hopefully one of themselves can really separate and during in-game and really prove themselves to be the better linebacker of one another, whoever that ends up being.
Or they're just both fantastic.
That's
why
nice
not?
Too.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not complaining if that happens.
And then with the outside linebackers, obviously we're running 3-4, so we got 4 backers, and it's the most important position in the 3-4. We have Alex Davis top one of the outside linebacking positions. Right behind him, Tyron Ferguson, which we kind of expected, and then Caleb Tanner and JoJo Doman were named as co-starters on the other side. So it's interesting because I think a lot of us thought that Tyron Ferguson might end up getting moved to the other outside linebacking position if that was the case, but he got listed as the backup to Alex Davis, so it'll be interesting to see how that dynamic works out. And then Caleb Tanner, he has an opportunity to make a big impact in this game, and as a young guy, it's really interesting to see what he's going to be able to do. We're excited to see what he can do, and I'm pretty optimistic.
Yeah, I definitely could see JoJo Doman, just since he was late into camp, slipping into the permanent kind of starting role. But who knows? Caleb Tanner really has a big opportunity in these next couple games to solidify that he earned playing time this year. So exciting, definitely either way for that.
For sure. So those are kind of the two biggest positions to look out for. Obviously, there's so many other players. We're pumped to see all the players.
Yes, all the players.
The receiving. Wan'Dale Robinson's one that I'm excited to watch for sure. He was listed as one of the 3 starting wide receivers, and he's going to be seeing the field a lot this season. And I'm sure the coaching staff is excited to see what he can do. He was listed as one of the
hype in practice.
Yeah, he was listed as one of the kick returners as well. So the hype around Wan'Dale has been real, and so we're excited to see what he can do in this first week as well.
Yeah, our wide receivers are going to be fast and small. So
yeah, seriously,
it's crazy. He's 5'9", so
yeah. Expect the screen passes, expect the slants, expect the sweeps,
jet sweeps. Yeah,
yeah, it's gonna be all over the field. And it's going to be fast, short, a lot of short stuff early on in the game, I'm sure. And that kind of transitions us perfectly right into the game itself versus South Alabama, We're 36-point favorites. I mean, South Alabama's not a very good team. I mean, I think we all know that. And ESPN had them ranked in their power rankings 125th. As you may know, there's barely that many teams in Division One. So,
and apparently last year the Sagarin ratings had 24 FCS schools ranked ahead of South Alabama. So, it's rough. South
Alabama, they went 3-9 last year. They have a second-year head coach in Steve Campbell. So they're looking to make some improvements this year, obviously, with the regime going into their second year. What's interesting enough is that there's actually 2 guys on this team who were here 5 years ago when Nebraska, or 4 years ago now, when Nebraska played South Alabama originally. Jalen Thompson and Tyree Turner both were here in 2015. So they're fifth-year seniors now. And so it's pretty interesting that they actually have guys that were here in that 48-9 loss back then.
Yeah, and then also with South Alabama, it's interesting they hired Troy's assistant offensive coordinator.
Yeah, that's weird.
To be their offensive coordinator. Who, if you can't remember, we lost to them.
I can't remember. I can't. No,
I
can't remember.
I put that out of my head, Caleb. Dang it! Why did you remind me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
If you watched our video from 2 weeks ago, you would have been reminded.
You'd been reminded of a lot more than that, though.
Yeah, for sure. So
drinks,
that'd be worth checking out. Another shameless plug. But yeah, that's really funny. I mean, the fact that they hire Troy's assistant offensive coordinator to be their offensive coordinator. Maybe they're looking for some inside information on the Huskers. Who knows?
Yeah, he didn't get to see Adrian Martinez last year, though.
True.
He'll take some notes on how to coordinate from that.
100%. Yeah, so they've kind of had like a QB battle going on all offseason. They have 3 guys they've been battling between. And it sounds like Cephas Johnson is going to win that role. So it'll be interesting to see.
Pretty cool name.
It is. He's got a great name. Cephas Johnson. That's dope. They've lost a lot of starters. They're only returning 10 starters overall on that team. 6 offensively, only 4 defensively. And that's pretty scary for them considering they allowed nearly 40 points a game last year. And they're only returning 4 starters.
Yeah. Looking at all their fan subreddits, they were not very high on their team this year. They were actually really nice in praising Nebraska. So, I really have no animosity towards them or their fan base. They were really realistic.
Yeah. So I don't feel like there's too much to talk about when it comes to the preview for South Alabama, just because this should be a pretty simple game for Nebraska. I mean, the question, I guess we were kind of talking about this before we were recording, but like, what would you be happy with Nebraska's performance in this game? Points wise, maybe statistically, just overall performance. What do you think? Like, what would make you happy? Let's start offensively.
All right, so offensively, especially when the starters are on the field, I want to be able to see this ball moved really seamlessly. I want to see how much faster our team's gotten this year, especially with this a lot smaller team. Obviously, I want to see the strength. We should be pushing around this, obviously very bad team.
Yeah.
I mean, we should be getting, a good couple yards pushed by everybody on the offensive line.
For sure.
I want to see Adrian Martinez just get a gaudy amount of yards in no time flat. And, just absolutely pat the stats for later in the season. If he's really going to be that outside dark horse Heisman odds, to get 400 or 500 yards wouldn't be a bad thing right here.
For sure. I'm definitely looking at the running game. I want to see the running backs. I mean, I don't think we're going to see much Maurice Washington, if any at all. A handful of carries at most. And I'm looking at Dedrick Mills. I'm looking at all those guys in the backfield to see if they look efficient. And if we lose Maurice Washington next week for the season, they have to carry the load. And that's a lot to handle for all these guys who have barely seen. I mean, what are the combined carries of those 4 guys for Nebraska?
Dedrick Mills is going to have them all.
Yeah, So going this year,
and Wyatt Mazur has probably 40, 30, 20 carries.
Yeah. So, the experience outside of Maurice Washington's insanely limited. So that's what I'm looking at for sure. Defensively, I think we're going to learn more about Nebraska's defense in this game for the most part than offensively, because it's like if South Alabama moves the ball on us, I'm going to be worried. And that was kind of like what we were looking at the beginning of last year. We wrote off the points that those bad teams were scoring because it's just the beginning of the year. But it showed. Our defense was terrible last year.
Yes. And
so if Troy's putting up yardage, putting up points, if they end up putting 20 plus points on us, I'll be really worried. Even if they put up 14, I'll be worried.
Yeah. I want to see turnovers, especially with a new quarterback. I want to be able to see some picks, pressure.
Yeah.
I really want to see this defensive line prove itself a little bit. I just want to see nice tackling, like understanding what the defense is that they're operating. Yeah. There needs to be lots of improvement there, and I'd really like to see a lot of chaos created when this team is so bad, so few people are returning, and I want to see them put the pressure on and 1 or 2 picks. That's what Scott Frost, that's what Shenander's been really pushing, is maybe that teams are going to get yards on us, but we're going to be able to get turnovers. So I want to be able to see a lot of turnovers right away, quickly, against South Alabama.
Again, it's just, I mean, obviously we're also looking at how this team physically looks and performs, and like we should be able to dominate them physically across the boards. So that's going to be definitely kind of a gauge and meter for how we're performing and how we look on the field. I mean, we're going to be able to tell a lot, obviously, in this first game, and that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, again, also Scott Frost has talked a lot about toughness this year, and I want our team, I would definitely want our defense to look tough and mean, and I don't want them to care that they're the 125th team. Bo Barry was talking about giving teams respect, play like it's a championship game. Yeah. I want us to do that against South Alabama and absolutely just punish them the whole game.
100%. So with that said, that kind of moves us into the predictions for this game. I don't think we're necessarily predicting as much win or loss as we might for other games down the road. This one's more of a how much are we winning by? So Caleb, what you got? How much are we winning by? Are we gonna beat the odds? What are you taking, the over, the under? How you feeling?
I think we will. I think it'll be pretty close. I think 36.5 points is.
It feels right.
Yeah, it feels pretty good. I think we're gonna win 49-7. I think some of the other battles are still gonna be happening, and I don't think Martinez is gonna see much more than 2.5 quarters. I think we're gonna score a lot of points pretty fast, and I think we're also gonna want to save some for Colorado the next week.
I think we're gonna underperform the line just barely, solely because in that first half we might go up 24-0, 30-0 in the first half. Yeah. And then in the second half, you bench a lot of those starters. You're looking at that depth because Nebraska's depth is pretty shaky, and we're looking to see the rest of that depth on the team. So in the second half, you might allow a few points. You might not perform as well offensively. So I have us winning 42-10, slightly underperforming the line, but still a dominant performance overall. And that first half will be really telling with our starters in there that we're the dominant team. So that's how I think this thing shakes out.
Josh and I are super excited to watch the game. We're really excited to talk Husker football with you this year, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter. We're really excited for this year. This is a really exciting year for Husker football. It feels so 100%. Much even more positive than it did last year. And we're really excited to cover the Huskers being good, winning games. And we're excited to cover the rest of the Big Ten more than we have this last year too. We really want to be able to give you guys quality information, create a community, and be able to talk and get to know you guys as Husker fans, as we're dying Husker fans ourselves. I'm Caleb, that's Josh, this has been Backseat Sports, and we'll see you next video.
See ya.